Okay, we'll call this council meeting of January 8th in the new year to order. I would like to acknowledge that we're holding this meeting on the unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq, and let's stand for the singing of O Canada.
In all of us command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Okay, record of attendance, no absent with regrets. Any declarations of conflict of interest, anyone? Are good? You can declare at the time of the agenda item. Approval of agenda. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up on this. We were going to remove the public hearing because we had some more work to do, but we saw so many of these good folks in the audience that we said what we will do is we'll go ahead with that. So what happens at a public hearing, we'll have the public hearing and then later in the agenda, council makes that decision, so it comes up twice, but we won't do that second part, correct? Sort of?
Sort of. So because we had a different plan tonight, but so
Yeah.
many of you showed up that we called our planner back and
Yeah.
we're going to proceed with the public hearing.
Yeah.
While Martin was on his way, he advised that if council wishes to proceed with the amendments as we'll have the hearing on tonight, if you want to make a decision tonight to approve them or not, whatever, that is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that there's other work that we need to do, but we can do that work subsequent.
Oh, excellent. Good. See what happens if you miss 5 minutes? So that's good news, and thanks for coming back. We appreciate you scooting. You didn't even get a ticket. This is good news. So that's the process. We're just glad everybody showed up, so that's good news. Okay, approval of minutes, Town Council, December 11th, 2025, please. Councillor Dares and Councillor Lesser, any discussion on these? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, so the public hearing. So what happens here is I will read the issue that we're dealing with. I'll read that, and then I'll ask 3 times if anybody would like to speak to the issue. And if you want to share something, you would come up to this microphone, have a seat, get comfortable, tell us your name and where you live, and then you can share whatever your thoughts are. We do keep track of everything, so nothing of what you say will get lost. Just want to make sure you're aware of that. And yeah, so I'll ask 3 times just in case somebody's shy in the beginning. Okay, so we have the Housing Accelerator Fund planning amendments to the proposed amendments to the land use bylaw and the municipal planning strategy as contained in attachment 1. Okay, would anybody like to speak to this one? I usually ask faster, but I can see somebody might be getting some papers out. Okay. I'll ask a second time. Would anybody like to speak to this one? I have it here. Do they have attachment 1? don't think so. You'll see, I have the 3 letters. We have 3 letters here. We're just getting the CAO to check where attachment 1 might be.
10C?
Okay, so
Right.
I have it, but do they have it? Would they have had access to that to know to go look?
Sorry, Martin, did you want to?
Yeah, we just want, we would just like to know, when I mentioned that what we're looking at is an attachment 1, you didn't, who didn't see attachment 1? You don't have it? Okay, thank you. So you can, can we bring, yeah. Are you good? Good to either explain it or bring it
Yeah,
back?
I was trying to, I put my glasses on if you
Oh,
look at
that's
me,
okay.
if you want me to clarify. So I think what the reason I'm suspecting, the attachment 1 to which you're referring to has essentially, it's a set of amendments to the land use bylaw. Now, among those amendments, we're also asking council, as we asked planning committee a couple of weeks ago, to consider amendments or upzonings to several lots in the vicinity of the hospital, in the vicinity of NSCC, and elementary school on Parade Street. In pursuant to those proposals for upzonings of those private lands, we had sent out letters as per our standard process. I suspect the majority of folks in attendance today are here because they might have received a letter from myself and Upland advising them, you know, hello, this is what we're doing, this is why the land adjacent to you or in proximity will be upzoned from X to Y. For more information, go to our website on Get Involved. I'm only suspecting that's the reason why people are here.
I assume so.
I've had several conversations
yeah, we're
with some
into-
residents today
Okay.
as well about the same thing. None of the conversation I've had today was related to any of the other amendments. It was all mostly, or all of them were in relation to the proposed upzonings. So, you know, if the general comment or the sentiment I have received is, like any upzoning, you know, what does it mean? Is my property value going to change? Is there going to be development adjacent to me? Does it represent a shift to, you know, what I'm used to? And so typically my response would be, from, you know, what we can tell, this is really just an upzoning to allow things to happen in the future. There's no imminent intent from our end, or from what I can tell, any private owner at this point to go and develop, add units on those respective lands. This is really just a allowance for things to happen in the future, which will likely happen as part of our 2026 brand new land use bylaw anyway, right? So on a map, it looks like a big change. I always say that's, you know, it looks different, looks new, may allow for slightly different things than today. In reality, we don't expect any significant changes over the next 6 months between now and us adopting the brand new bylaw in 2026. Now, I'm not sure if that helps at all, or it doesn't, or complicates or simplifies things, but if people want to speak, I suspect they probably want to speak to the proposed upzonings.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
And if I'm understanding correctly, I don't know where council is, but if you folks came and you didn't either receive or find that appendix, and as the planner suggested and the CAO said, you know, we don't have to make a decision today. I think, I can't speak for council, but I would suggest that we would rather you understand and be able to ask all the questions you can. So if we can vote on what we want to do, but we can, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we can have that conversation tonight. You can speak to the issue, and then next month come back and we'll do this again And you may find that you've talked to your neighbors and they want to come in, so more people are involved and we're hearing from more people. And you're clearer on the issue, if that makes sense. We just want it to be clear for you so you feel it's been covered and you understand.
And so to add to that, I would welcome every single one of you to connect with me. Should you have any questions, concerns, I'd be happy to explain the ins and outs of what is being proposed in the vicinity of where you may live, and hopefully that'll offer some comfort or understanding or clarity between now and potentially February public hearing,
Yeah.
if that's what council decides to do tonight. Again, by no means I'm trying to suggest that it's complicated, but at the same time, we're not saying it's, don't worry about it. We're here to answer, explain, or I am anyway, and so don't hesitate to get in hold of me if council provides the additional time for the discussion to occur.
And he's great one-on-one. I can sit one-on-one and talk, and I can actually understand. I can understand better because you can ask as many questions as you want, but I think I do speak for council when I say that our concern would be that you have the information you feel safe with. That's most important to us, so that you don't have to say, I wish I had known. Does that sound fair to you? So does anybody, I'll still ask the 3 times, does anybody wish to speak to this one now? Understanding if we make that decision, you can certainly come back next month and ask more questions, bring more points up. Okay? Anybody want to speak to this? Welcome.
Hi. My name is Roberta Pulishin D'Entremont. I live at 19 Sprucewood Drive, and I'm concerned about water issues. I have water issues now. I've been at the same place since 1991, so I've been there for many years, and there certainly have been changes in drainage and erosion in my property. And with more development, is there going to be more erosion?
Okay. So, did you want to answer that? If it may help, and then you may have more questions to go home and think about if you want. Whatever. Go ahead, Martin. That's Mr. Beck.
Martin's good. Thank you. I had a similar conversation with, I'm sorry, I missed your first name and last name, actually. Roberta's neighbor about some of the rainwater management issues between properties backing onto NSC or NSCC. So, a couple things. The proposed upzonings we're asking council to consider and hopefully ultimately approve, especially on the NSCC side, are in many ways irrelevant, as if province chooses to use that undeveloped portion of NSCC and develop something on that, the province's ability to exempt themselves from municipal bylaws, whether it's land use rules or zoning. Regardless, we felt that sort of suggesting by way of upzoning the land that the land may be suitable for some type of residential development in the future, we felt it would be and achieve exactly what it did today, let people know that it's a good piece of land. Sure, challenges from stormwater management perspective exist, as we are learning. However, it's still a piece of land that is serviced, that is undeveloped, and may provide for valuable units at some point in the future. We don't know when that may be. Maybe later this year, maybe never. Notwithstanding, if province chooses to subdivide and offload that piece of land that we're upzoning to a private developer, that private developer would be subject to standard development permit review process, which would include things like stormwater management review. And so that site and that proposal, if one comes in, would have to include a engineered, developed, reviewed, and an approved plan for how to manage stormwater post-development. Meaning, would that improve your concerns that you're having as a community member. I don't know. Would that worsen them? The whole goal of that review would be not to do that. Again, I'm going to repeat, if province chooses to retain the property and develop on their own, they have their own process. They don't really ask us for anything. They simply go and build the units if they believe that's what the community needs. Yes, it is. It's provincially owned land. Has been, I am looking to CAO for a long time, and it's in their stewardship as of today. Yes. Does it help? And so I think where I was going initially, where I was trying to say, you know, we really didn't have to upzone that. We didn't have to ask council to consider upzoning of that land because province could exempt themselves. But we felt that letting people know that, again, it's a good land, considering what's available in town for future development, and sort of putting the stamp of the new zoning on it and bringing you guys out is appropriate thing to do. It's more transparent than what, you know, province at times can do and simply just go ahead and build stuff without anybody sort of being involved or aware. Look, I'm going to give you an example of a hospital expansion. The town is not involved in review of any of the plans. You know, from a development permit standpoint, from building permit standpoint, we haven't seen anything. But when you look at the site, I think it's more than clear that the project's being conducted in keeping with the best practices that are out there, whether it's to do with site cleanliness, environmental management, like that is all likely up to snuff, if I can be frank. And so I have no reason to suspect if province pursues that piece of land behind your properties, that any type of development, should they be developing it, would not be up to the standard, whether it's from stormwater management perspective, design perspective, site planning perspective, and so forth. And I'm going to say it one more time. Again, there's no intent to build anything on that land today, from what we can tell. It has just been flagged as a property worth looking at and potentially considering for future development at some point down the road.
So, attachment 1 is on Get Involved Yarmouth?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go to getinvolvedyarmouth.com or just call the office, the planning office, they will make sure that you're guided to the right place to get that. So you can read that, and then you may have more questions for Martin. Okay, so I'm going to ask one more time. Does anyone else want to speak to this issue?
My name is Dickie McDonald. I have no skin in this game, but Blair has joining to the lot from Hibernia Street, and he's in surgery tonight, so he couldn't come. But he wanted to know about the water, which I've already heard about, but he wanted to know what the setback might be, or if you know at this time.
Got a setback there, Martin?
Yes, thank you. And so the site's relatively large. It's one of our, not our, but one of the bigger sites undeveloped in town. And so the typical setback between the spruce properties and any potential development, likely 20 feet at minimum. Now, considering the site size and topography, which I'm familiar with to a degree, as far as I can tell from Hibernia, I never walked it myself. What I can see from Hibernia is what I can tell about a site from topography standpoint. I suspect that any potential site design would likely reflect that and pull any development as close to Hibernia as possible, right? Essentially building on the more buildable portion of the site and leaving that would be the south and the southwest portion of the site more or less a natural state, and if anything, available to sort of deal with any rainwater management challenges that may exist today or result from a future development.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So So can I just see if they want to push it now? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, Martin, you had sent me a text about one of the written submissions. Did that person want it read into the record?
Yes. So what had happened is, as I alluded earlier, I had a range of conversations with different citizens, some of your neighbors. There was also some discussion in the background with federal government about the timing of these things, and so we obviously wanted to postpone this meeting until February, and so I advised the gentleman to not bother coming, and so I did feel that it could be appropriate to perhaps read out their email. They were going to do that anyway. It didn't seem or sound like they want to add anything else other than just read out the email that they already provided. It's in the package.
So which
And
one's
if
that?
it,
This is the one from Mike Martell, is it?
correct. And again, if depending on what's going to happen today with your decision making, if we're coming back in February and repeating this public hearing, then it's not a problem. I don't believe that we have to read it out, but it's
Well,
safe to be
all
sorry.
of council has it, and it's attached to the agenda. You've probably read it, and there is another possibility of another hearing. Since council has it and presumably will consider it in their deliberations, I don't know that it's necessary to read it out. It's available publicly and will continue to be available on our website. So, but I want to call that out as that we didn't anticipate such a large turnout, so thank you for your engagement and for showing up. And so Mr. Martell is not here, and I just want to call out that he had intended to be and did have a concern that he expressed in his email.
Okay, so you don't need me to read that? Okay. So we've asked 3 times if anyone wants to speak, and no one else wanted to speak, so I'm going to change things up from what we usually do and ask council if you would like to vote on it as we do in every other meeting, or if you would like to put this over to February to, I would suggest give folks more time. Okay? Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
I guess it's me.
Oh, that's why. I keep looking at, sorry, Counselor.
I'd like to make the motion that we defer this item until February, our next meeting.
Thank you.
And,
Okay?
sorry, for
Yep, go
For
ahead.
clarity, Your Worship, and I heard you say it a few times, but maybe it could be included in the motion to hold a second hearing in February?
I think that's what that's saying, but yes,
Yes.
we'll have another hearing.
Okay, go ahead.
Just, I guess, a comment for the people that showed up. That doesn't happen often, and it's really nice to see people engaged. There's nothing sneaky going on here. I know it seems like you showed up and you don't have all the information, but I agree 100% that you need to have all the information to talk to us about. And you're certainly welcome to reach out to counselors as well. So, thank you.
I'll second that one. This gets us excited because, I'll say this for me. When you show up, we know people are paying attention, because sometimes we do things and we're like, were they paying attention, or did they understand? Or was it important? Because there's lots of, things just happen, but we're really glad to see you. And now you have a chance to talk to your neighbors and friends and get together and see what the questions are, and come back next month and we'll go over it again. Go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, just a comment, because I did mention to my colleague to my left that I enjoy council meetings a lot more when those seats are occupied. So thank you all for coming.
Sometimes they're not occupied by people smiling. That's okay. That's all right. It's all part of the process. All right, so were you going to share something there, Martin? No? You can do whatever you want. Oh, sorry, didn't even see that one. Val?
Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor?
I just, a procedural point, I just want to understand whether the link to the attachment is going to be on the agenda next month.
Yes.
So two things. The link was on the website when the hearing was advertised, and our usual process is that the documents related to the decision are in the council under business arising, where the decision is made, and the only documents that appear adjacent to the public hearing are submissions that we've had
Yeah.
related to the public hearing. So it can be a little difficult.
Well, I just want to make it easy for the public to be able to access what it says in the agenda, they can access. So, yeah, they shouldn't have to search for it, I don't think. I think
No.
it should be easy for them to find. Thank you.
So we'll put that in both places, because it's on the agenda now. We'll just move those other pieces up. Thank you, Counselor. Okay, you're going to speak, and then we're going to vote.
Two things. If can I just quickly follow up on your comment, Councillor Highfield? Procedurally, we didn't. There was no. We didn't miss any steps. Yes, sometimes finding information on our websites, whether it's get involved or council agendas, may not be easy. However, it's the very standard that we've done for every single item since I've been here anyway. But again, should there be any questions where to locate information, I'd be happy to support and help. Regarding the NSCC site itself, and I'm only going to say that as a sort of option for consideration and consideration of folks behind me. There would be no material impact should council, depending on the input from citizens or without it, choose to take that site off from the list or away, or remove that from the list of upzonings. As I said, it's a provincially owned site. The zoning doesn't really matter. Province can still build on that land despite what the zoning says. And so, should council feel more comfortable to remove that either tonight or it sounds like it'll be February, there will be no material impact to our obligations to the federal government. The package of amendments would still very much fulfill what we need to fulfill, and that would be with or without a site being upzoned. So I just want to make that very clear. There's really, it's a nice to have at this point. And we really wanted to do that as a signal rather than a must-have upzoning to enable something. The only point where it would become irrelevant if province decide to subdivide, offload to a private builder. At that point, zoning would matter. But that would be then addressed, as I alluded again, through 2026 implementation of a land use bylaw. So I hope this helps. I hope this doesn't confuse things anymore. I just wanted to sort of offer that up as a sort of information that it's not as important to keep that piece of land on the list of upzonings today or in February.
Okay, thank you for that very much. Go ahead, Councillor Lesser.
I just, on that, I'm just wondering if anybody can answer, but is there anybody in the audience that is here on, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but on a different piece of land other than that one? Other land besides that? Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So anything else, anyone, before we vote? Okay, and we are voting to put this into February, so nothing happens until then. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, well, that was sort of easy. And nobody has to stay. I always have to clarify that. We love the audience, but sometimes folks say, oh, can I leave? And yes, you're free to go, but you are certainly free. We beat Landman and Tulsa King. Okay. Thanks for coming. Okay, business arising, penalty bylaw. The recommended motion there is that council pass second reading to amend the penalty bylaw as presented. Okay, moved by Councillor Lesser, seconded by Councillor Bashir-Lacroix. Any discussion on this one? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion carried. Thank you. council meetings bylaw amendment that council pass second reading of the council meetings bylaw to amend section 12.0 to include committee of the whole minutes being approved at town council meetings. Okay, Councillor Lesser, Councillor Bashir Lacroix, any discussion on this one? This doesn't, this is an addition, this wasn't the review, because we got to review this anyway, right? Like, it wasn't an entire review of this bylaw. We might have to make other changes, huh? Okay, sure. Okay, any discussion on this one? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion carried. And Housing Accelerator Fund, we're not doing that one. Okay, so reports. Deputy Mayor, you don't have committee of the whole because we don't do it in December. Citizen advisory, planning, nothing from Councillor Cleveland. We haven't done planning yet. Communities in Bloom, Councillor Dares, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this one deserves some explanation. In 2026, we have to start preparing for the 2027 symposium. And we anticipate that there will be some expenses that will be incurred in the 2026 calendar year. Not sure exactly when those expenses are going to be incurred, but it's possible that they might be incurred prior to the final approval of the budget. So we just wanted to sort of, 50,000 was just a random number that was chosen. It doesn't have to be that. I do want to talk about the fact that in 2019, we had the symposium here, that council's contribution to the symposium in that year was 72,000. And I want to caution you that that was pre-COVID. So there's a possibility that when you do receive the full budget from the Communities in Bloom Society, which is a new entity that's been formed, that it may be a little bit more than that. We're in the process at the present time, we're finalizing the recreation, I guess, of the Yarmouth Symposium Committee. And it'll be the Yarmouth Communities in Bloom Society. So it'll be a separate entity that will manage the symposium. But we need to engage a planner, so we would like to issue an RFP to do that. We also need to consider some of the expenses. We have officials coming from Ottawa in early April, and we're not sure if we have to incur any expenses for them and those sort of things. So we do have some money left in the Communities in Bloom budget for the year that will take care of some of our expenses, but we're just not sure that it'll be all. So we wanted to be, I guess, sort of give a heads up to council and to the CAO and the CFO that there may be a requirement for an advance of some kind to cover the expenses that we may incur prior to the approval of the budget. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
So I wonder if the wording is at council advance up to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just a random figure that was chosen. It wasn't anything.
No, but
Yeah.
So, Your Worship, I had a brief discussion with Councillor Dares before the meeting to understand whether there was urgency around this and the size of the advance. I'm comfortable, if he's comfortable, to defer this to next meeting.
Yes.
And if there's a need for money and you know what the amount is, to deal with it at that time. Just keep it hot, keep it warm, in case we need it.
Yeah. Just to clarify, the application for the society status is being finalized, and that shouldn't take long, but it's actually the society that will be responsible for those funds.
So deferring this would be okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely okay. Thank you.
so we have a motion on the floor. So should we? Okay, thank you. Did you just move to table that, Councillor Bell? Councillor, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Councillor Cleveland, I think.
I have no problem with deferring it at all. As a matter of fact, it's just, I'm a huge supporter of this. So let me start with that. But the next part is, it always scares me. We had a particularly tough budget set year this year. And so the first thing that comes to mind, I'm turning into a curmudgeonly old guy, is just the question, do we have the money? And if we do, then I have no problem with it. If it's going to be an issue, then I do.
So have we put something, did this go towards budget for this year? It must have. 'Cause
I don't think there's been a specific number referred to budget yet.
No.
Yeah, so, but we'll be getting into the capital budget shortly, and then into the operating budget. And as is usually the case, it's May, right before we set the operating budget. Those discussions will start probably March, right? And we'll start looking at numbers. So at that point, hopefully, the society has a budget that, you know, is built out, and we get a sense of what the complete ask is, and how much of it's 26 and how much of it's 27.
Yeah, once the society is in place, of course, one of the issues is that the budget preparation would involve the planner. So we want to get the society in place, get the RFP out, engage a planner, and then finalize the budget. We do have a draft budget that was prepared, I think, by Neil McKenzie of Yasta, who was the applicant, and we have that to work with as a model, but the actual budget submission would be coming from the society.
Okay, thank you. So it's been tabled. Do we need a seconder? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I agree with Councillor Cleveland. I think Community in Blooms does great things, but as we've penny pinched this year and whatnot, it would be nice to come up with random numbers of 50,000 for committees that we're on, but I think a more, exact budget would be nice when these asks come to us, and given the hard times financially that we are in, and down the road, if this is something that really needs to be done, I think I'd be more comfortable then. So I think tabling it is something that I agree with.
So do we have to, we're voting on tabling, okay? Voting on the tabling. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion carried. Okay, thank you, folks. Okay, so there are reports for information there. Any questions for committee chairs? Go ahead, Councillor.
Not a question, and I know it's not on the agenda, but I just want to give a quick update on the deer management situation. So prior to the end of the year, of course, our application was, we were advised that we had to follow all the rules and regulations of the province and statutes and bylaws, which sort of, it sort of handcuffed us. It hobbled us as to what we could do. The options available to conduct an organized hunt or kill or anything like that were very limited. I've had several discussions with the MLA, and in light of the recent success of Truro, just to back up a little bit, Truro has been conducting an organized cull for a number of years now, with very limited success. But this last season, this just passed, that was quite successful, and that's because they were given permission basically to bend the rules and to change the conditions under which those could be conducted. Having said that, as I say, I've been liaising with the MLA, and we were hoping to meet in person prior to the holiday season, but I can tell you that he was flat out. Everywhere I turned around, he was there doing something. So his schedule was pretty busy. We do have a tentative meeting set up for the Monday coming, and he's confident that through his contact with the Department of Natural Resources that we can find a suitable solution that mirrors something that Truro has done. So we're trying to play off their success, and hopefully that'll work well for us in the future. But kudos to Truro, by the way, for the fact that they've been at this for like over a decade, I believe now, and are finally making some progress. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thank you, unless there's any questions.
Questions?
Meeting. When's the next meeting? I haven't had any notification of meetings.
Yeah, Lindsay reached out to me today about that, and there has not been a meeting set. I'm hoping that we can have the MLA present at that meeting, but his schedule is pretty tight. So after we meet on Monday, I'll be in touch with Lindsay to try to organize a meeting. We'll let you know.
I'm curious, probably the meeting would be the best time to discuss it, what the bending of the rules look like.
Yes, exactly. There was I believe it was in the Chronicle, there was sort of a lengthy explanation as to the success of the Truro. I can get you a copy of that if you'd like.
No, I can find that. Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for committee chairs? All righty, approval of invoices. Oh, sorry, I can't see the, all right.
Thank you, Your Worship. Following up on the deer management issue, I was approached by a constituent over the holidays with a question about trapping in the town of Yarmouth. And I was able to redirect him to the province, to the Department of Natural Resources for information about the rules, because I don't think that anything specifically addresses that in our bylaws, because I think probably we would consider that people wouldn't be trapping. But anyway, the issue arose because he lives in a very central urban north end center of town and has credible evidence of coyote activity. And I just want to bring that to council's broader attention, and I have no idea if that, you know, I've urged him to go to the Department of Natural Resources to let them know, because they are obviously the party that is a decider on those issues. But just for council's information, that's basically bringing it up for that. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Peace and Order bylaw is the one that prohibits hunting any wildlife in the town of Yarmouth. And Section 11C defines hunting, and it means chasing, driving, flushing, attractive, pursuing, worrying, following after or on the trail of, searching for, trapping, or attempting to trap, and on and on and on. Yeah, so, okay.
So, right? I know. 2 of them climbing up my trellis with pus all over. It's just dangerous. So the coyote situation, I continue to hear about that as well. How do we keep track of that? Coyotes in town, like how do you know, do people report it to us? Do they, it's not us, it's natural resources. The issue is, and I say this respectfully, we see what happens when you pass it over to the province, nothing happens. So if somebody gets hurt, I guess that's my answer. It's up to the province. That's a shame. Okay, approval of invoices. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion carried. I have water checks. Councillor Cleveland, you can help me do the other ones. Okay, date of next meeting is February 12th. And motion to go in camera. Oh, go ahead there.
I do have an update. I should have kept reading. Subsection D says the prohibition against hunting wildlife within the town shall not apply to the live trapping of or attempting to live trap raccoons. For the purpose of clarity, the shooting of raccoons and other forms of trapping are prohibited. Yeah, I just added that.
Okay, motion to go in camera, please. Moved, seconded, okay, good. We're in camera?